Welcome to BossUp Babes, helping babes show up, boss up, and thrive. With #1 best-selling author, global influencer, and ultimate boss babe, Karissa Adkins. Karissa is a health and wellness expert and CEO of the 365 Daily Hustle, here to help mompreneurs and career-focused women boss up and reclaim their healthiest life. She is a pro at cutting through the BS and inspiring massive breakthroughs that help women create healthy routines and habits that facilitate personal and professional growth. Are you ready to reclaim your best life, take action, and be a badass boss babe? Let's get to it.
Ladies, what if I gave you the secret sauce to building $1 million empire? Would you literally listen to every word I had to say? Would you write down everything and then commit to doing it? What up, ladies? Welcome to another powerful episode of Boss Up Babes. I am your host, Karissa Adkins, the #1 mindset and success coach, helping lady leaders rise up and become the best versions of themselves. Now, I believe in a world where women can and get to have it all. Right? A world with financial freedom, great health, strong mindsets, amazing relationships, and of course, a thriving, fulfilling business. Today, I want to give you just some of my $1 million strategies that the business experts don't tell you when it comes to building a successful empire. I want to help you build the mindset and the lifestyle of excellence so that you can reach your personal and your professional goals. But I wasn't always the empire builder. I wasn't always the woman with unshakable confidence. I wasn't always this happy and healthy and fit queen. Most of you know that. Nope. I used to be a woman who struggled with making healthy choices, who struggled with putting herself first, always saying yes to everybody else, who stressed out all the time about every little thing, who had very little confidence in herself, and a woman with such a negative mindset that I could pretty much talk myself out of anything that was good. Yeah, I know what it's like to be 213 pounds, depressed, stressed, broke, and homeless. I want to actually take you back to a time in 2019. Now, a lot of you know my personal journey with my health. Right? That was 2012. So we're going to skip a couple of years. I've now lost 100 pounds, and I just kind of want to paint the picture of what 2019 looked like for me. I had just left my corporate job to pursue my passion as a coach. My divorce was finalized, and I was just diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune thyroid disease. In 2019, I was financially scared for my future. And I lacked clarity and vision for where I needed to be in my business and where I was taking my business. I found myself always thinking things like, maybe I should just go back to corporate. Maybe I should just go back to, like working with these types of clients. Maybe I this, maybe I that. I always felt so conflicted. So that year was a big year for me, right? I didn't have the fancy cars anymore. I didn't live in the beautiful luxury homes. I didn't dress to impress because I was depressed and I was lonely and I didn't know what I needed to do to grow my business. But then I remember thinking, what do I have, right? I kind of took a step back and said, Karissa, what do you have? And the answers that I got back in the day were, I said, Karissa, you have the courage to take risks, you have resiliency to keep going, and you have passion for helping others. And more importantly, you have the willingness and the grit to never give up on your dreams. So back in 2019, I was sitting in my office and I took a call from a book publisher. I listened to the amazing opportunity that she had. It was a collaborative book project. And she said, you're going to be a part of this, Women Who Boss Up movement. And you're going to be featured all over. You're going to do book tours and speaking engagements, and you're going to sell thousands of copies. And I was like, oh, yes, yes, yes. And then she said, it would be about a $7,500 investment. And I'm like, whoa, pump the brakes, right? I mean, that's when I couldn't get off the phone quick enough because I knew that my bank account was a hot mess. I mean, I was barely getting by because I was paying for this nasty divorce. I was paying for the, the rent and the bills. And to top it all off, COVID-19 just hit, right? But it was such an amazing opportunity. So instead of completely dismissing it, I told her, I was like, I need to think about it. It's a big decision, right? I'm not financially secure right now. I then hung up the phone. I went into the living room and I told my daughter, Sarah, who was about 12 years old at the time, about this opportunity. She could see the excitement in my eyes. She said, Mom, what are you going to do? And I said, Sarah, I would love to do this, but I don't have the money. And then she asked me two things. She said, Mom, since when have you ever cared about the money? And I was like, okay, this girl's right. And then she said, this opportunity would allow you to help more women thrive. It's exactly what you need to do. This wisdom from my 12-year-old, I was like, oh my God, I have such an amazing daughter. So I went back into my office. I called the book publisher up and I said, you know what? I've changed my mind. I've made up my decision. I'm all in. Where do I sign? So over the next couple of months, I honestly thought the money would just start flowing in. I was like, oh, great. I'm going to be a part of this book project. I'm going to figure out all kinds of things. I'm going to be speaking on stages. But the reality is that I didn't book a single thing, right? You see, the book was a tool that I just didn't know how to use yet. But in the book process, I learned so much about myself. I mean, I got really crystal clear on the stories that I experienced in my life. I got crystal clear on the direction I wanted to take my business. I got super crystal clear on the messaging that I wanted to be focusing in on. But a couple of months later, right, if you've ever been part of a book project, it's a waiting game. You figure out all this stuff and then you wait for the books. And because this was right in the heat of COVID-19, right, we were promised books delivered by a certain date. So we started setting up all these events for it, virtual events, virtual podcasts. We were talking about all about this book. And then obviously the shipping, the shipping yards, right? These books were being published and produced overseas, and they weren't getting back into the United States. I was like, oh my gosh. So here I spent all this money, and for what? For what? Over the next couple of months, things got even worse, right? I found myself having to make some difficult choices. So my lease was up and I was like, wow, I still don't have lots of money. I still don't have lots of clients. I have no security in my future. What do I need, right? These are all the things going through my head. And then I found myself again saying, Karissa, you could go back to corporate. I mean, gosh, marketing like the back of your hand. That job would take you back in a heartbeat. And then I was like, oh, that just doesn't feel good. I just don't want to do that. So then I said, what else do I want? What else do I need? And I said, Karissa, I got this beautiful guidance from my inner goddess. She said, why don't you just ask for help? So I decided that my dreams are worth pursuing. So I kept pushing forward. I turned to my best friend, Jen, at the time. Well, she's still my best friend, but yes, at the time I turned to my best friend, Jen, and I asked if me and my family could move in with her. So there I was living in my friend's basement, sharing a 10 by 10 room with my daughter. So just imagine a 10 by 10 room with a queen size bed and a desk that I office out of, right? That was also my office. I was making about $900-ish a month. And if you're doing the math in your head, that's about a $10,000 a year that I was expecting. And I finally was like, oh my gosh, okay, I can breathe, right? And I could breathe because I stopped doing a couple of things. I stopped worrying about my future. And I started just living in the moment, right? I didn't have to worry about rent. I didn't have to worry about the bills. I just had to worry about feeding my daughter and I had kind of kicked my son out, I'll be honest. He was 19 years old and I was like, honey, I love you, but you're going to have to go get your own place. Right. And as a mom, that was hard for me to do, but I could not ask her for all of us to move in. I was just like, oh my gosh, I have a grown, like a 19-year-old boy. He can go out and get a job and go out and support himself. So I kind of kicked him, tough love, right? Kicked him to the curb. But I stopped worrying about the money. And instead, I again took a step back and I asked myself, what do you know to be true about growing a business? Remember, I had spent 8 years in business development and part of the strategic marketing developing team. I knew exactly what I needed to do in order to grow a business. And before my marketing job, I owned my own tuxedo suit and cigar shop. And before that, I literally watched my mom and dad build their own business. I knew what I needed to do. I found myself writing down a few things. I said, Karissa, you need to take care of your current clients, right? So I said, how can I take care of them with excellence? And I focused on helping them get great transformations within their health and their businesses. So they were losing weight, they were making money, and then they started referring, right? They were referring all their friends to me. Because if Sally over here can lose 30 pounds and gain $25,000 in 30 days, then guess what? Their friends can do it too. And they started talking. And then I knew that I needed to keep things simple. I needed to show up. I needed to follow up. I needed to market. I needed to network. I needed to follow through. I knew exactly what I needed. And just like that, you guys, the DMs started coming in. The clients started signing contracts and big companies were hiring me to come and speak. That was the year that I was able to go from $10,000 to a multi-six-figure business. But the $1 million question that I get when I'm being interviewed on podcasts or for other, books or anything like that, they say, Karissa, how were you able to grow, scale, and develop your business without sacrificing your health, your relationships, and your integrity? So today, I want to talk about something more valuable than any of the marketing strategies, any of the lead generation tips, or the do's and don'ts of content writing. I want to give you just 4 of my secrets that will allow you to scale and grow your business like a legendary leader. These are the exact tips that I have used to not just take my business from 10 to 6 figures, but that have also helped my clients go from broke to booked as well. So guys, get out your pen and paper because I'm about ready to give you the 4 secrets that you actually need to be doing. Secret number 1 is all about body love and self-respect. Taking care of my own well-being is essential for my success of my business. For years, I've been developing healthy habits to ensure that I could sustain great health. Great health is the foundation for any $1 million enterprise. Investing in my health isn't just an investment in my future, but also my family's future and my business's future. Because you see, when I am at my healthiest self, mentally, physically, emotionally, guess what I have? I have energy. I have confidence. I have unshakable mindset that literally takes me through any tough time in my business. My health is my biggest secret to building my brand. So if you're listening to this, I want to encourage you to, make a list of everything you need to do in order to get your health, mental health, and physical health back on track. I have conversations with women all the time that are making millions of dollars in their business, but they are now coming to me because they know that in order to go to the next level in their business, right, maybe taking their business from a $5 million company to a $10 million company, it's going to take putting themselves first, getting into alignment with who they want to be in order to create that next level. So now you know secret number one to building $1 million brand. It comes all down to self-respect for your body and living with tons of energy. All right. So you guys, you have to take care of your health and your well-being. The second secret to my success is that I learned how to tap into the hustle and the flow energy, AKA masculine side and the feminine side. You see, in my past, not just in my corporate life, but even in, my teenage life and as a little gymnast, as an 8-year-old, I had to hustle and grind so that I could reach the goal, right? I watched my parents hustle and sacrifice lots of nights, lots of holidays for their business and in exchange for time with their kids. So I created these limiting beliefs around being successful, making great money. So as you can imagine, with all of those learnings and those beliefs that I, learned about what it takes to have a great business, and FYI, that's not what it takes. I tapped into I got really good at hustling, right? I hustled and I grind and I literally prided myself on being the hardest worker in the room. I was the first to show up and I was the last to leave. And that is tapping into the masculine energy. That's the hustle, the grind, the getting shit done. But building a $1 million industry, a brand, right, doesn't just take the action, the masculine energy. It takes the feminine energy as well. And if you're asking what the feminine energy is, it's in the being mode. It's following your internal guidance. It's listening to your heart. It's using your imagination to grow. It's manifesting. It's law of attraction. So in my opinion, we need the hustle and the grind. We also need the flow. You have to tap into not just the hustle mentality, but also you have to live with the flow lifestyle. All right. You need both, because all of the hustle will lead to burnout and overwhelm and exhaustion, right? Which then leads to bad health and, high blood pressure and chronic diseases. But you need the flow. You need to be able to have fun in your business. Okay. So the secret weapon number 2 now to having great health and wealth. You've got to have both the masculine and the feminine energy. So on to the third secret to building $1 million empire. It's being relentlessly committed to the process and by deciding to be all in. Being all in while building $1 million empire is having a strong commitment to your dreams. It's taking consistent action towards your best life, no matter how difficult it may seem. It means being okay with being uncomfortable. It means pushing past the fear and the self-doubt, right? So that your dreams can become a reality. It's letting go of the procrastination and the perfection and tapping into excellence instead. A woman who is all in is a woman who is committed to the process. She's committed to excellence with everything that she does. And ladies, excellence is not perfection. Excellence is you showing up every single day, striving to be a better version of you. And sometimes that means slowing down. So today I challenge each and every one of you to be all in when it comes to living your dream life. So before I give you the fourth and juiciest secret to my success, I want to take some time to remind you to take my quiz, right? Quite often women come to me and they have no idea what they really need in order to reach the next level of success, whether it be with their health, their wealth, whatever, right? So if you take the personality quiz, which will only take you 2 minutes to fill out, by the way, it will give you the guidance that you need to go to the next area, to rise up. It'll give you a 5-step proven system to take you from where you're at today to where you need to go. 2-minute quiz. I invite you all to take that powerful action step right now. The quiz link is down below. All right. And I'll be like, I know this, like only a few of you will even do that. But those who do will literally, it could be the decision between having your next $10,000 month and your next $50,000 month. It could be the decision that you did that's going to take you from never losing any weight to finally losing 10 pounds. Okay. That quiz can change your life, y'all. I mean it. All right. So the fourth and final secret to building an empire and living your epic life is that you've got to switch your mindset. Okay. You've got to upgrade your mindset. So rather than thinking like a coach, what I did is I shifted my mindset to start thinking like a CEO. Okay. You have to go from coach to CEO and replace the word coach with whoever you're being right now. Okay. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you're a graphic designer. Maybe you're, a financial planner. Yes, that is what your title is, but you need to start thinking like the next level woman. Okay. So the biggest game changer for me is that I went from coach thinking to CEO thinking. Let me give you some examples. A coach thinks I need to make money before I can spend money. A CEO thinks, how can I make money before I can actually, or how can I invest in myself so that I can continue to grow? A coach plays small and base a lot of her decisions based on fear and what her bank account looks like. A CEO makes decisions based on smart decisions, strategic actions, and they're willing to play big. They're willing to take those calculated risks. A coach gets stuck in scarcity mindset after having a bad financial month. A CEO knows that even the biggest companies experience highs and lows and that it's important to ride out the wave. So after I decided that I was no longer going to play small, everything shifted in my life. So a CEO knows that it's important to invest in her business and her health. Even if forget even being your own boss, right? Like you can be a woman who works for somebody else and still make that switch, right? You can make the switch from average to being the boss of your life, boss of your health. You're in control. So the very first investment, I'll be honest, that I made, you guys, is I hired tons of coaches. I hired speaking coaches, mindset coaches, business coaches, social media coaches, you name it, I hired them. I wanted to learn from the best because what I didn't hire was a health coach. And what happened, the difference between not hiring a professional to help me lose the weight back in the day was that it took me 3 to 4 years to get to my optimal, healthiest self. Now, I don't know about you, but now that I'm in business, I don't want to take 4 years to get to where I want to go because now I value time. I value how can I get there the quickest, right? Different thinking. So yes, I hired tons of coaches, but after I hired those coaches, I bet you can imagine what happened in my business. Because when you work with the best, guess what? You become part of the best. I started bringing on so many clients. And one of my core values is value. So I knew that if I was bringing on all of these clients, that I would need to be able to continue to bring great value so that they could have transformations. So I decided my next investment was going to be in my business by hiring a team. So I started, with a social media manager because I knew that a CEO is not doing all of their marketing. I invested in a VA, which then became a full-time employee pretty much, handling all of my marketing. After my marketing increased, guess what? Yep, the leads kept coming in. So then I hired a team, right? I hired a fitness coach. I hired a nutritionist. I hired a hormone specialist. Because I had to take a minute to step back and ask, I said, Karissa, what do you love to teach and coach on? And I'm like, oh my God, I love the mindset work. I love the business development. So I hired a team that could support me and my clients by helping them do all the other stuff, the meal plans, the nutrition, the hormone calls, etc. I started delegating, and that is exactly what a CEO does. She knows the projects that are $1 million projects, and she knows the projects that are $10 projects. And guess what? She knows she needs to work on the $1 million projects. So the fourth and final money-making secret here, guys, is that you have to invest in yourself. You have to hire the coaches, get the mentors. Let's face it, we all need a support system. We all need accountability and a proven process to fast track your business and your health. So to quickly recap, the 4 secrets was number 1, you've got to make your health a priority, because without your health, you have nothing. I mean, think about what kind of woman would you be if you didn't have any energy, if you didn't have your health, if you were constantly in the doctor's offices, if you're constantly comparing yourself to others. What kind of life are you living? The second thing is you've got to learn the balance between the hustle and the flow. Okay, hustle and flow, it takes both. Number 3 is to be all in and committed to the process and to do everything with excellence. Show up, be intentional, be mindful. And the fourth and final, secret was to step into the CEO role mindset. You've got to shift your way of being, and starting with your thought process, right? So ladies, that's exactly how I went from broke to homeless, and how I went from doing all of that to building a multi-6-figure coaching company. So I want to remind you, today is the day to start creating the life of your dreams. Today is the day to start believing in yourself and your ability to achieve greatness. Today is the day to strive for excellence. So if you're listening to this right now, no matter where you're at, I want you to repeat after me. I am worthy. I am capable. I am limitless. I am unstoppable. I'm here to remind you, ladies, that anything is possible if you commit to the process, you have a little faith, and you keep taking action. You are worthy of success. You are worthy of greatness. So I just want to thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you found it very motivational, very inspirational, and I hope you just start implementing at least one of the secrets to my success. Ladies, with that, I hope you keep taking names and kicking ass. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you for listening to Boss Up Babes with Karissa Adkins, bringing you tangible tips and expert coaching advice to help you boss up and get healthy. Tune in every Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com for interviews with industry leaders and powerhouse boss babes that will empower you to take action and live your best life. If you're ready to boss up and work with Karissa in one of her transformative group coaching programs, visit 365dailyhustle.com.